Hi students, in this short lesson we're going to cover system fonts, how to use Google Fonts, and what font managers are. I would like everybody to go to 4D in your assignments and then texture in Word and then scroll down to where you see Mac system fonts and Google Fonts. So under Mac system fonts, you have classics like Futura, Baskerville, Helvetica, and Garamond. And these fonts are included on all MacLab computers on campus. But these fonts, unfortunately, are not included on the PC, which creates a pretty big problem because then if you transfer from using the MacLab to your PC, it'll default and you'll notice that the type looks incorrect. So we recommend, if you're moving from the Mac to the PC, to use Google Fonts. Before we start to work with Google Fonts, I would like us to do one quick step, and that's to create a folder for our fonts before we download. So if we go to the Finder, and you'll go to the desktop, you'll find your local Scratch, and then your Rhythmic Grid folder under your name. I'd like you to add a fonts folder, and it's just like using the assets folder. You're just going to put the fonts you use into that folder. So let's jump over to fonts.google.com, and it's pretty easy to work with. We're going to just search, download, transfer the font, and then install it on the Mac, and then I'll also talk about how to install it on the PC. So there's 4 fonts you can work with from Google Fonts: Roboto, Open Sans, Garamond, and Baskerville. And I'm going to just look up Garamond, which is pretty simple. You just search for it. We're going to be working with EB Garamond. That's the example I'd like to use. If you have your keyword, let's say mine is Mystic, it will actually show that word set in the typeface, which is a really nice feature if you're looking for a particular style of font. So all I have to do is, once I find the typeface that I want to work with, I'm going to hit select. It shows up down here. And then really all we need to do is click the download this selection. It downloads. Jump back over to our Finder, go to our downloads folder. It's a zip file. You open the zip. It should have a bunch of different weights and also italic. You can drag that, or you can just simply copy. A lot of times after I copy it, I just delete it. So again, to keep my downloads folder empty, go to the desktop, to the local Scratch, and then I'm just going to paste those fonts into the fonts folder. To install them, it's really simple. You can just hold Shift and select all, or you can do them one at a time. If I double click on the Mac, it will pop it up, and then I can select any of them that I want to and just hit install. It will open FontBook, which FontBook is your type manager on the Mac. To install it on the PC, all you have to do is make sure, again, it's unzipped, and you right click on the font file that you want to install and just select install from the drop down box. Then also you could search for the font. In the fonts control panel, you can drag and drop those unzipped fonts. So understanding what a font manager does is pretty simple. Again, on the Mac it's FontBook, and on the PC it's Font Manager. And all it does is allows you to turn on and off the fonts that you're using, or possibly delete them. So on FontBook, I just installed Garamond. If I want to stop using that, I can just hit disable and it'll actually turn off that typeface, which just simply means when I'm in a program like After Effects, I won't see that font as an option anymore. So again, it's pretty easy to turn on and off. You'll want to manage these over time just because if you have a couple hundred fonts installed, it will definitely slow down the load time of your application and then also probably the project that you're working on as well. So one last note, if I've installed Garamond on my Mac and I'm working on my project and then I transfer that over to the PC, I know this seems pretty obvious, but you definitely need to install Garamond on your PC as well, otherwise the type will default. Once you've installed it once, Garamond will be an option on your Mac and also on your PC. You don't have to install it every time you use it. So again, once you've installed, it is permanently there as an option till you decide to disable it. Hope this all helps, and good luck with your project.